Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a historic moment for West Africa, one that could reshape the region's future. This Thursday, March 27, 2025, a plenary session was held in the Parliament chamber to discuss two draft laws. Among these was the bill approving the treaty establishing the Confederation of Sahel States, AES, adopted on July 6, 2024, in Niamey. Lawmakers adopted the law approving the treaty establishing the Confederation of Sahel States, AES. The historic vote tally, 70 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention, marks the official entry of Burkina Faso into the Alliance of Sahel States first. Some context. The Sahel region, stretching across Africa just south of the Sahara, has been a hotspot for instability. Jihadist groups, military coups, and economic struggles have plagued countries like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso for years. In July 2024, the leaders of these three nations, Colonel Assimi Goïta of Mali, General Abdourahmane Tiani of Niger, and Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, signed a treaty in Niger's capital, Niamey, to create the Confederation of Sahel States, AES. The goal? To unite their resources, armies, and policies to tackle shared threats and reduce reliance on foreign powers like France or regional bodies like ECOWAS. But treaties don't become reality overnight. Each country had to ratify the agreement through its own legal processes. Mali and Niger moved quickly, but Burkina Faso's journey was slower. Fast forward to March 2025. In a packed parliamentary chamber in Ouagadougou, lawmakers finally voted to approve the AES treaty. The foreign minister, Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré, spearheaded the effort, arguing that the AES would act as a shield against instability and a tool for sovereignty. Now, you might wonder, why the single abstention? Officials downplayed it as a procedural hesitation, not outright opposition. But the near-unanimous vote sent a clear message. Burkina Faso's political class, despite differences, sees unity with Mali and Niger as existential. As Traoré put it, Mali and Niger waited for us. Today we stand united. But the AES isn't just about security. Let's talk about what's in this treaty. Articles 24 and 25 require member states to align their laws with the Confederation's goals, from military cooperation to economic integration. Think joint border patrols, shared infrastructure projects, and even a potential common currency down the line. For three nations rich in gold, uranium, and agricultural land, but often exploited by foreign companies, the AES could be a game changer. Imagine a Sahelian market of 80 million people negotiating trade deals as a bloc. Of course, skepticism remains. Critics argue the AES is more symbolic than practical. After all, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are all led by military juntas that seized power in coups. Can these regimes, often focused on self-preservation, truly prioritize regional cooperation? And how will they fund ambitious projects when all three nations rely heavily on international aid? But let's zoom out. The Sahel's push for unity isn't happening in a vacuum. Over the past decade, groups like ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, have struggled to contain crises, from terrorism to democratic backsliding. France, the region's former colonial ruler, has seen its influence wane as anti-Western sentiment grows. Meanwhile, Russia and China are capitalizing on this shift. Russia's Wagner Group already operates in Mali, and Chinese firms are eyeing Sahelian mines and infrastructure. The AES could become a strategic partner for these global powers, or a bulwark against them. Back in Burkina Faso, the parliamentary session wasn't just about the AES. Lawmakers also passed a groundbreaking artists' status law, file number 001. This law guarantees artists, musicians, painters, writers a minimum wage tied to Burkina Faso's guaranteed minimum interprofessional wage, SEMIG, social protections like health care and pensions, and formal recognition under labor laws. For a country with a rich cultural heritage but struggling creatives, this is huge. Take Ida Kouyaté, a Burkinabe musician I spoke to last week. She told me, "For years, artists here have worked in the shadows. We perform at festivals, but the government treats us like hobbies, not professionals. This law means my daughter can pursue music without fearing poverty." Burkina Faso's art scene, from the FESPACO Film Festival to traditional drumming troupes, could see a renaissance with this support. But why pair the AES treaty with an artist's law? It's all about soft power. Culture is a tool for national pride and diplomacy. By elevating artists, Burkina Faso isn't just boosting its creative economy, it's crafting a narrative of resilience and identity to counter extremist groups that exploit disillusionment. Now, let's talk reactions. Domestically, Burkinabe citizens flooded social media with hashtags like AES Unity and Sahel Strong. Many see the Confederation as a rejection of foreign intervention. "We're tired of outsiders dictating our future," said a student in Ouagadougou. "The AES is ours, for Sahelians, by Sahelians." Internationally, responses are mixed. Russia and China praised the move as a step toward multipolarity. A Kremlin statement called the AES a model of anti-imperialist solidarity. Meanwhile, ECOWAS and France have been quieter, but diplomats privately worry the bloc could further destabilize West Africa. One ECOWAS official told me, "Regional unity is good, but not when it's built by military regimes." But here's the big question. Can the AES deliver? Let's break down the challenges. 1. Security. The Sahel remains the epicenter of jihadist violence in Africa. Groups linked to ISIS and al-Qaeda control swaths of rural Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The AES promises joint counter-terrorism ops, but merging armies with different structures, equipment, and loyalties won't be easy. 2. Economics. All three nations are among the world's poorest. Over 40% of Burkina Faso's population lives below the poverty line. Without massive investment, infrastructure projects like cross-border railways will remain pipe dreams. 3. Politics. The AES's legitimacy hinges on its members' stability. If one regime falls to another coup or civil unrest, the Confederation could unravel overnight. Yet there's hope. Young activists across the Sahel are pushing for the AES to prioritize education and jobs. "We don't just want soldiers working together," said a Malian tech entrepreneur. "We need coding boot camps, solar farms, and trade schools." And let's not forget the artists. Burkina Faso's new law could inspire similar reforms in Mali and Niger, creating a cultural corridor across the Sahel. Picture this. A joint music festival in Niamey, funded by the AES, featuring artists from all three nations. That's the kind of soft power that bullets can't provide. So where does this leave us? The AES is a gamble, a bet that three military-led nations can reinvent regional cooperation. Its success depends on balancing hard security with grassroots needs. But Burkina Faso's dual focus on confederation and culture hints at a broader vision. Unity isn't just about armies and treaties. It's about shared identity. Before I wrap up, let's revisit that artist's status law. In a region where extremists recruit by promising purpose and paychecks, giving young creatives a viable career path is counterinsurgency by another name. As Ida Kouyaté said, "When you invest in art, you invest in hope." To the critics who call the AES a dictatorship club, maybe. But it's also a survival strategy. With climate change drying up farmlands and jihadists lurking in the shadows, the Sahel's nations are betting that together they're stronger. What do you think? Is the AES a blueprint for African unity or a risky power play? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want a deep dive into how Russia and China are influencing the Sahel, let me know. That could be our next video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. This is Voice of Africa, signing off.